Hi everyone, this is what happened to me when I got government housing part 90. By the 29th of the 11th 2017, I was working in my Work for the Dole activity at the community garden, and I was also working 1 day a week at the second-hand store, and I was still very sick with the medical condition that I had, which caused me a lot of pain, but I never considered going to the hospital because of the way I had been treated by some public servants in Melbourne. On the 2nd of the 2nd, 2017, I went to see my doctor to get the results from the blood tests and ultrasound that I had, and the doctor ruled out some things, but told me that I had a condition, and I can't reveal that in this series. I started taking painkillers regularly, and I started drinking alcohol when I could afford to buy it. I didn't care about the consequences of taking painkillers and alcohol because I just wanted to numb the pain, and it had gone on for so long. On the 4th of the 12th, 2017, I rang the Law Society and I asked them for referrals to lawyers who could assist me with the matters that I was dealing with. I rang one of the lawyers that they referred me to ask about getting compensation for my washing machine and dryer, but the lawyer claimed that I should not waste my time by suing anyone through the Melbourne Magistrates Court, and they advised that I should instead make an application for compensation through VCAT. After I made that phone call, I went online and I put some of my personal possessions online for sale, but I didn't get any responses. I just wanted to make some money to help me with the cost of living. So on the 5th of the 12th, 2017, because I didn't get any calls and I didn't make any sales, I went to a food bank to get some food. I was finding it so hard to make ends meet. I couldn't afford to pay my bills, wash and dry my clothes, buy healthy food, or replace the items that I believed were damaged by the respondent. On the 10th of the 12th, 2017, we were walking past a local park when the respondent actually came out of nowhere. I have no idea where he was hiding, but he came out of nowhere on a bike and parked it in front of me and said, "You're going to jail," and something else that I didn't hear. So we ran away and sat down next to a group of people who were in the park, and then he left, and when I couldn't see him, we went back home. I couldn't believe that he was still coming back to the area to confront me, and people in the area often said things about me being antisocial. But I don't know how anyone expected me to lead a normal social life when I was always scared and I never knew who was going to confront me. The other thing I wanted to say about that incident is that I don't know how the respondent knew where I was on that day. The main issue that I had with him stalking me was that he always seemed to know where I was and was able to confront me when I left my home or when I was trying to get back into my home. And because I didn't have a lawyer and he was never questioned in court about those incidents, I never found out how he knew where I was at any given time. Then on the 13th of the 12th, 2017, I went to a food bank again, and I also worked in my Work for the Dole activity, and obviously I found it ironic that I was working, which is unpaid, but I was also reliant on charity to get by. That was ironic, but there was nothing that I could do about it. On the 14th of the 12th, 2017, I noted in my diary that there were some people bashing on my front door frequently, but I never opened it to see who it was. I think everyone will understand that after what happened with child protection and the police turning up but arguing with me, and the respondent hanging around, and of course, there was the fact that I actually saw the dead body of one of my neighbours on one occasion when I opened my front door. So I think people will understand why, I wasn't eager to open the front door when that's what I was faced with. And people wondered, why I didn't go out. I mean, obviously, apart from the fact that I was living in poverty and probably couldn't afford to go out anyway, but, even so, I did get criticism for, not being able to socialize, but I'll talk about that probably, later in the series. On the 15th of the 12th, 2017, I did leave my unit, but that was just to go out to the laundry in the block and to look at my empty laundry space. I don't know why I did this. Maybe I was looking for something, or maybe I thought if I looked hard enough that I would see that things were the same as they were when I first moved in, and none of this really happened to me. On the 18th of the 12th, 2017, I noted that I still hadn't heard from the compensation court about the date for my hearing. I had been waiting 18 months for the hearing by that time, and I was told that the wait time was usually 6 weeks. I found my poverty unbearable, and all the things that I had to do because of being in poverty were so hard, like asking charity for food and having to push a trolley to the laundrette just to wash and dry my clothes. I noticed that I hadn't received a reply from the Current Affairs TV program that I contacted, so I gave up on them. At that stage, I didn't consider putting my story on the internet, and I wanted someone else, like a journalist, to do that for me anyway. I couldn't imagine taking on the task of telling my story back then because I was so burdened and overwhelmed by everything that had happened to me, and everything that I saw, and everything that I thought, and all the things that I wanted but I couldn't have. There was literally no way out for me. My only option was to go to court and get compensation and go away and try to heal on my own terms, in my own way. I had been planning different holidays and outings for us to do, and I had ideas about what would be the most beneficial things for our recovery and for our relationship. I wanted to stay in a hotel because it would have been a break from the reality of everything that had gone on in the block, but I also wanted to rent out an apartment with a laundry so I could do my washing and my daughter could see that I was doing it, and it would make her feel safe and I would feel safe, and no one would be able to get to us or damage our stuff. Over the weekend, we stayed home because the respondent had confronted us at the park and I wanted to avoid him. The consequences of each incident were always so much worse than what it sounded like when I described them. It's not like the respondent confronted me and then I went inside and everything was okay. I had to spend days after each incident worrying that he would come back or that he was still there. And because I never knew why he confronted me, I was forced to imagine what he would do next. And that was the worst part.